Salut guys, last trading day of the week and the Bitcoin chart looks the most interesting it has in the last few years because right now we have arguments both for a full-on collapse into the abyss and for a new big leg up. Let's break everything down step by step. Bitcoin is trading around 89,000 and just a couple of days ago it really felt like maybe the bottom was in, and now Bitcoin was heading into a bright beautiful future wrapped in green candles and the tears of short sellers. But literally right after that green candle we immediately got a series of red corrective candles, and right now we have arguments both for a continuation of the drop and for a fresh wave of growth. I'll start with the scenario where Bitcoin keeps falling and eventually dumps. Honestly, it is not even clear how far, and then we will talk about the bullish continuation. I opened the 12-hour time frame, and what instantly jumps out is the global downtrend structure on Bitcoin that we have been seeing since the end of September up to today. Highs are getting lower, lows are consistently being taken out, and we still do not see any real signs of buyer strength. We do not even see a proper sideways range here, which would mean distribution. The asset just keeps bleeding down inside a clean bearish structure. Right now, after sweeping the closest high that I previously marked with a red cross and have now replaced with a green check mark, price has come into a 4-hour imbalance zone. And you would think it would be logical to see a bounce from here, but instead price is holding and trading below the moving average, and on top of that, by sweeping that local high, Bitcoin once again confirmed the bigger picture bearish structure on the higher time frame. But I put a big question mark over the continuation of this structure because I genuinely do not understand where it is supposed to fall to. A small local drop, a trap, a full move down into that 35 to 40,000 imbalance zone. The imbalance around 80,000 has been filled. A huge amount of trend liquidity is built up above price, but even with that, the picture is still extremely mixed. The fear and greed index is sitting at 21, which basically tells us that market participants are already in a state that is right on the edge of extreme fear. And all of this is happening even though Bitcoin is still at 89,000, which is objectively a high price, but sentiment on the market is pure fear. After a long streak of outflows from the spot Bitcoin ETFs, we finally got a small series of inflows for a few days in a row. The nuance is that these inflows were many times smaller than the total outflows. And the outflow on December 4th almost completely wiped out the sum of all those earlier inflows. But a small dose of positivity came from the inflow on December 5th, which might be the first hint that what we are seeing now is a trap for the shorts, and that this drop into the 12-hour imbalance zone could just be a classic bear trap. Over the last 24 hours, as usual, another batch of longs got liquidated for about 55 million, shorts got liquidated for around 49 million, and finally we see something close to a balance in liquidations. Bullish or what, chat? On the liquidation levels map, the main priority zone is in the 93 to 95,000 area. Around 83,000 there is noticeably less liquidity for the market maker to grab, but this market loves to surprise us, so at this point nothing would shock me. On the liquidation heat map, you can also clearly see, even with the naked eye, that the brightest, thickest liquidity shelf is sitting right around 90,000. Lower down it is just not as bright and not as obvious, yo. The main cluster of liquidity is still sitting above 95,000. On the 4-hour time frame, I want to break down the promised bullish scenario with the continuation of the uptrend because it really does look like Bitcoin might be starting to form a new bullish structure on the higher time frames. And in general, everything looks cool here, guys. Good vibes, positivity, we are all going to make it. Salute, yo. If in the first part of the video I was showing you the global bearish structure, then here I want you to pay attention to the fact that maybe right now Bitcoin is actually trying to break that downtrend and start building a fresh bullish one. If we take this scenario as the base case, then the low was set around 78,000. And right now Bitcoin is retesting the last imbalance before taking off into space. This scenario is absolutely valid. The only question is whether you personally believe in it and whether you are ready to take that risk with a clearly defined stop loss. Either way, Bitcoin is giving plenty of opportunities to trade here, but only if you know your personal acceptable level of risk, because profit is just the reward for executing your plan correctly. Subscribe to the channel, support the video with a like, and I will see you in the next one.